Hi there, my name is Mary Kilolea. Welcome to the To Be Bolder podcast, providing career insights for the next generation of women in business and tech. To Be Bolder was created out of my love for technology and marketing, my desire to bring together like-minded women, and my hope to be a great role model and source of inspiration for my two girls and other young women like you, encouraging you guys to show up and to be bolder and to know that anything you guys dream of, it's totally possible. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Welcome to the To Be Bolder podcast. Today's guest is a woman living her best life. Her passions, beliefs, and careers have aligned, and she's living boldly. Lynn Dohm is the Executive Director of Women in Cybersecurity, which is a global community of women, allies, and advocates dedicated to the recruitment, retention, and advancement of women in cybersecurity. With more than 25 years of organizational leadership experience, Lynn specializes in partnership building, advocacy, and strategy. She has worked in various capacities in the cybersecurity education sector with active involvement in grant-funded programs and nonprofits that assist in providing educational solutions to the cybersecurity workforce. She has received numerous awards and accolades as a result of her work, including the People's Choice Award for Cybersecurity Woman of the Year, The Light That Shines by Empower Women of InfoSec, and Top 100 Women in Cybersecurity by Cyber Defense Magazine. In 2020 and 2021, she accepted the Nonprofit Ally of the Year Award for Women in Cybersecurity. Lynn is also an accomplished keynote speaker, panelist, and moderator for international conferences, events, and organizations. Prior to Women in Cybersecurity, Lynn helped launch the Community College Cyber Summit and worked in various capacities with the National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center, Center for Systems Security and Information Assurance, and Cybersecurity Competition Federation, National Cyber Watch Center, and National Cyber League, among many others. Oh my gosh, you have done it all. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Mary.
Wow. So cybersecurity, you must just eat, live, and breathe that.
I do. Once I came upon cybersecurity in my career, it just stuck with me, and there's no going back. There's no other areas that really interest me as much as cybersecurity and the workforce initiatives that have been revolved around it. And so that's my space, and I just live and thrive in that space.
So let's talk about how you got into cybersecurity. Part of this podcast is really hearing the journeys of successful women like yourself. So if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of the women that were cybersecurity I came across it. And once I came across it, I was like, wow, this is a whole new world. And it was something new and something fresh and very problem solving and ever evolving and fast paced. And it just seems like as soon as I got introduced to the cybersecurity and all the different workforce initiatives and the ways that people skill up and develop and redevelop skills, it just stuck with me. And so that was many, many years ago, over, 15 years ago. And I decided that throughout my career, that all the different efforts that I pursue and devote my time in was going to be about the cybersecurity workforce initiatives, which has led me to all those different other events and initiatives and NSF funded grants and opportunities that I have helped along the way within the cybersecurity workforce, which ultimately introduced me to the Women in Cybersecurity, the WiCyS organization. And so in 2019, I received a message from our founder, Dr. Ambereen Siraj, and she asked me if I would consider applying for the executive director position myself. And so it was the first time in my career where I had to sit back and be like, this all makes sense. Everything that I've done and worked hard for up until this point, this is the moment that I've been waiting for. And even though I wasn't seeking that opportunity was put right in front of me, where my career and my passion was able to merge into one, and I was able to move forward with that. So it was a very hard, extensive interview process to become executive director of such a nonprofit. But October 1st of 2019 is when I started. And it's been just an incredibly joyful ride ever since.
You are definitely a great example of living your passion, and a great example of a woman striving to be bolder. Tell me, what does to be bolder mean to you?
To be bolder really means harnessing the power that we have from within. And sometimes just trusting the process along the way of what our own genuine, authentic selves bring to the table. So, to be bolder, in my opinion, is to be able to empower women, especially the women in cybersecurity that I work with, to show up as their authentic self and to really move forward with their passion and let their curiosity guide them across the way. So I read something on Twitter right before we got into this interview, and it just resonated with me. And I thought, wow, isn't it interesting that I scrolled upon this? I guess it's not called Twitter anymore; it's called X. But but it was someone posted, "One day your confidence will catch up with your abilities." So that is so true, and everyone will eventually say that in some time of their career. I just wish that we could harness that power sooner in our careers, as opposed to being like the wiser, kind of older women sharing this with others. So
I do agree with that. And it's, because I do interview women that are at a certain point in their career. And that is one thing that they consistently say, I wish I would have believed in myself, or I wish I would have, had more courage when I was younger. So I think it's great to be talking about that and encouraging other women to do that.
Yes. Always do, just dive right in. And that is my biggest piece of advice for anyone that's curious or they don't quite know what their next steps are. I always encourage them to dive right in and start navigating through it, because navigating through the educational and skill building experience is just as important. And you will forever be navigating through your career. It's not something that you're not going to stop doing. And so you might as well get comfortable with the uncomfortable first step in of just diving in and taking it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the, I guess, challenges maybe that women in cybersecurity face? Because I would imagine it's a male-dominated space. Would you say that's true?
Yes. And very much so. So when WiCyS was started, and we go by WiCyS, our acronym is WiCyS, but we pronounce it WiCyS, like we sisters, because we're a global cyber sisterhood. So, but WiCyS was started in 2014 because our founder, Dr. Amberine Suresh, who is at Tennessee Tech University, came across some statistics that women represented 11% of the cybersecurity workforce. Well, she wasn't seeing it in any of her circles of industry, academia, or government. And so she reached out to the National Science Foundation here in the United States to receive some seed funding for the first ever Women in Cybersecurity conference, because her thoughts were, if women in cybersecurity exist, like, wow, they're out there. Let's bring them all together for a cybersecurity conference, a technical conference where we could learn and grow together. And so the conference was a huge success. The community came together. The networking piece was so phenomenal. And in 2014, 350 women were there. 2015, 550 women. Then it went to 900 and it grew. And you fast forward to the 2023 conference, the one that happened this year in Colorado. And we reached full capacity of over 2,100 attendees in less than a half hour of opening up registration. But our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. And what makes our conference so unique is for every regular registrant of an industry professional there to upskill themselves by coming to the conference, we offer out an aspiring or underrepresented professional scholarship. So it's a life cycle of recruit, retain, advance that really comes into fruition through the whole WiCyS conference experience. Then we became a nonprofit in 2018. And now we're at this because we knew there was so much more work that needed to be done. So we have so many skill development training programs, job board, mentor, mentee. We could get into all that later. But the workforce now is at roughly 20 to 24% of women in the cybersecurity workforce. So women represent 51% of the global population. And there's some challenges with going into cybersecurity because of that. more male dominated workforce. And so we're here as an organization to help bridge that gap, to help industry take responsibility to remove some of the barriers that might be also challenges there. And we've invested our time and attention and commitment as a nonprofit to just understanding that space a little bit more. So we did produce the WiCyS State of Inclusion Assessment. And so when we're always talking about diversity, we know that the lack of diversity is actually a symptom of the lack of inclusion. Mm-hmm. And so, but inclusion is a very hard thing to talk about because inclusion is a feeling, right, Mary? I mean, you and I feel included right now in this conversation. It's lovely. But inclusion is a feeling, and it's only felt when you're excluded, when you're not part of it. And so that's why we partnered with our research partner, Illyria, and we quantified the experiences of exclusion to identify the state of inclusion for women in cybersecurity. And it's really helped us opening up that doorways for conversation, not only empowering women to get into cyber, but for industry to do intentional actions and removing some of those barriers that we were able to uncover.
Kudos on the growth. That's amazing and very encouraging. What are some myths out there around careers in cybersecurity?
As an industry, we've done a very good job of making cybersecurity scary. We scare people into cybersecurity. And it kind of convolutes the simplicity of being cybersecure to, a non-security individual. But also sometimes it just makes it it seems so advanced or out there, or it seems so cutthroat that we make the potential cybersecurity career unachievable, or I'm not techie enough, or I can't be interested in something like that, I don't want to sit at my computer all day. There's so many misconceptions every step of the way. But the main thing about cybersecurity is if you have curiosity and you like to solve problems, that you're so curious, you want to go down that rabbit hole and you want to discover and unfold and, be a part of that. If you're very mission focused, where you get extremely hyper focused or intentional with your actions on how you want to, discover more, then cybersecurity is a career pathway for others. And there's so many technical and non-technical ways to get more involved.
Where do you see the biggest opportunities for career growth within this industry? Like, is there, I don't know, and pardon me because I don't know enough about cybersecurity. So I'm actually probably a good reflection of maybe some of the audience is like, if I wanted to do a career, is AI and cybersecurity is, where, it's kind of like the I don't know what I don't know kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And so many cybersecurity professionals might agree with you. So, cybersecurity is ever evolving. And in order to solve problems that have never previously existed before, you need to be very flexible and kind of curious and very ready to be tuned in and tapped into digging in further. But AI is of course, generative AI and machine learning. All those are very fascinating ways of cybersecurity, but also cloud security. We're always seeing a very high demand for cloud security professionals. So right now we're at a 3.4 million workforce shortage globally. So we're working really hard to fill that void. So the women in cybersecurity, we exist because we're at a critical workforce shortage. And we know that our nonprofit and our work that we're doing, that we're one piece of the puzzle of bringing the solution and filling those unfilled roles within cybersecurity. But we also know that there's two problems with building an effective cybersecurity workforce is you can't have diversity unless you have the pipeline, and you can't have the pipeline unless you're tapping into a diverse community. And so that's where we lie. That's the good work that we're doing is to bring opportunities and accessibility to even a female or non-binary individual that might be like, is cybersecurity for me? Well, WiCyS is the place for you because that's the space. You let us empower you. We know if you're interested, we'll get you there. We have the community, the network, the resources, the mentoring, that we have everything set up for your success, or what we would hope to think for your success. Now, I can't make any, broad stroked guarantees.
And I love it. You kind of answered my next question, and that was, who is Women in Cybersecurity, your organization, for? And what are some of the perks of the membership? And are there local events? Like you talked about mentor programs. Can you go a little deeper into those?
Sure. So I already explained that we started as a conference, and now we're a nonprofit. So our conference remains a very important initiative of ours, but it's one of many, many. So in 2018, we realized that the conference was so incredible, but everyone was craving so much more. And the gap between the workforce and the workforce that's unfilled kept on getting larger and larger. So we needed to do more. And so that's when we became a nonprofit. Now we're a member-based organization. We have over 8,700 members, and we have representation in 85 countries. We also have 63 professional affiliates, which are extensions of us for the global organization. And they're all throughout the continent of Africa. And then they're in countries like Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, Norway, Germany, Israel, the UK, and throughout the United States. And then on top of it, we have specialty areas like in AI, critical infrastructure, cloud security, data privacy, and then various communities, LGBTQ plus being a community, colors of inclusion, Latinas in cybersecurity, neurodiverse in cybersecurity, deaf affiliates. So we have many different ways of involvement and 224 student chapters. So that's just our community alone. But what we do is provide opportunities and accessibility to cybersecurity. So we offer out scholarships, grants, and awards, not only to our conference, but to other conferences. We have skill development training programs that are funded by Google, Meta, Bloomberg, Craig Newmark Philanthropies, Target, ISC Squared, SANS Institute, Fortinet, AWS, so many others. And those programs are all creating an inclusive space for those with curiosity about cybersecurity to come on board and learn more. Also, those that are ready to advance their skills, our programming efforts are there too, with leadership summits and exercises. And our mentor-mentee program too is an incredible opportunity for mentors and mentees to get those career growth advancement. Because you might know, doing the podcast that you do, is that the average mentee is 5 times more likely to get promoted when she's being mentored. The average mentor is 6 times more likely to be promoted. So it's amazing. Like, no matter where you're at in your career, WiCyS has a space for everyone to continue not only to pay it forward, but to grow in those leadership skill set. Allyship is a leadership skill set that takes experience and practice and courage to be able to step into the space of allyship. And so we're here as an organization to lend ourselves and our opportunities. And if there's a gap that we come across from our community, we're there to bridge that gap.
That's fantastic work and meaningful work. And when you were saying all the things that you're doing, I was thinking the companies that benefit from you creating this diverse, inclusive resource of talent must be so grateful. What is the feedback from companies?
We just love our partners and our sponsors. So, the conference sponsorship is one area where we engage with companies, but as a nonprofit, we engage with them as strategic partners. And right now we have 68 strategic partners that invest in us with the year-round benefits as a nonprofit organization. So those strategic partner benefits are them investing in the industry. And what's really, really unique, so I started in 2019, there was 10 strategic partners. Now we're at 68 strategic partners. And what has happened over the past few years is that the strategic partners become a community themselves. They know that the industry needs the investment, and it's a multi-organization approach, that an ecosystem of partnerships needs to be formed, and everyone needs to take responsibility of the workforce. If they don't, they're just going to continue to swirl around those senior professionals like they currently are right now. Like, the industry needs the investment. We're only going to have higher demands, and the supply cannot get any lower for cybersecurity professionals. So our strategic partners are really cool. We meet with them all the time. We get together every other month in a strategic partner debrief, and we just brainstorm ideas, things that we're hearing from our community. When we're building out programming efforts, we make sure that it's aligned with the strategic partners. If they're seeing it as a need on their end, like, we're here to bridge the gap from our community to our partners and make sure that we're getting the momentum going strong, that we're doing intentional programming efforts that make sense for everyone, or else or else the progress is going to stay slow. We're here to speed up the process, drive the change.
I see you lighting up on all these different topics because I feel your passion come through the screen here. Is there an area of the work that you're doing that you would say fulfills you the most, or that you're most proud of?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I could tell you, what I'm so proud of is the community. Like, what makes me so passionate is just the life-changing experiences that others have, and the fact that we get to hear about it each and every day. If you search on LinkedIn WiCyS, you'll come across story after story about women that never would even consider a career in cybersecurity and never even had any technology experience. And they took a risk on themselves and applied for one of the WiCyS's programming efforts, because we have this inclusive, safe space for them to feel like, oh, I could show up pretty vulnerable and scared, but I'll be in a great community. And then all of a sudden they advance through advanced scholarships and career placement services. And then a year from the moment that they decided to apply for a program, they're in a cybersecurity career. These are lucrative careers that women could support themselves and support their families. And WiCyS is really, really proud to be a part of that ride, because we know it's not easy. And these are earnings of individuals that they deserve. They have the aptitude, grit, and determination to get there, and they deserve this career at the end of all their hard work. And so that's really absolutely amazing. And I love building out programs. When new partners come to us and they say, oh, I have this idea about a program, like my innovative, like creative mind, I'm like, let's sit down and talk more.
So you talk about lucrative opportunities. Can you give me any examples of that?
So I don't have any data off at the top of my head on pay growth. What we all know, there's a tremendous amount of pay growth potential in cybersecurity, and there's career advancement and growth opportunities. And it's about even how we define lucrative careers is the opportunity for women to step in the space of having a remote position, to be able to like in cybersecurity, military spouses. That's why we have a military affiliate, is because military spouses that might be moving around with their spouse that's in active duty, they have the opportunity to be a cybersecurity professional and be able to move around and have that remote position, creating an incredible income and being an active contributor to, the financial situation of their livelihood. And so, but I last week I was on a call with one of our security training recipients, and she was a 2020 recipient, and she came across the security training scholarship, and she was a physical therapist. Like, this scholarship was designed to find the hidden talent, was designed for individuals to be like, I'm going to be curious and I'm going to sign up and see if I like it. And she did it. And she was a mother of one at the time. Now she has 2 children, but she was a physical therapist working at the peak of her physical therapy career. Her salary now, 2 years in, as a cybersecurity professional, and she got hired in a great position, was able to advance in her career, is far exceeds what she was making at the peak of her physical therapy career. And so when she shares it, I mean, you talk about me lighting up. I'm like, God, I light up because those people light up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's
That's
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah. I love that. That's a very tangible example of someone pivoting and being curious, taking the risk, and it paying off.
Yes. Yes. Another example is this woman that she claimed or stated that she never heard of the word or was interested in cybersecurity until she saw it on her LinkedIn profile. One of her colleagues or friends posted on LinkedIn, and she was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years. And she went through the tiered program, and she happened to be the advanced scholars recipients. One of the advanced scholarship recipients received advanced SANS certifications, career placement services, and went into a cybersecurity career. Imagine that. Like,
oh my gosh,
imagine what that must feel like for her, being like, I was a stay-at-home mom, which is wonderful, for 16 years. But now feeling like, what do? I don't have any skill sets right at this very moment. I have to upskill myself. Oh, look at cybersecurity. And then to be able to do it. So it's that grit, it's that determination. And all our programming efforts are really focused on that, is really finding that hidden talent, but also that determination, because we want to provide the opportunities for those that are determined to kind of have that life-changing experience.
That is awesome. So let's take a look at your career. If you reflect on your career, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh, just to dive in a little sooner.
Yeah.
Like we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. So to be able to, seek out other opportunities sooner in life, also to listen to others, as a professional now, I always share that anyone over the age of 45 needs to be mentored by someone under the age of 30, because to stay relevant, they're under 30-year-olds experience. I would never have any relationship. I've never had that experience being around social media throughout my entire life. I haven't had that experience. So many different things in the world has changed, and they were raised in that environment and had technology by their side. And just in general, it's very important for all of us to be extremely open-minded. But for me to tell my younger self is to seek out those mentoring opportunities, to let curiosity lead the question, to not be afraid to show up as my authentic self. It took many, many, many years to be authentic, and really COVID helped us launch into a space where working remotely and having children in the background of calls, that it was happening with men and women, and it kind of level set the playing field a little bit more to, be like, yeah, okay, I do have this career, and yeah, I do have a family. It's okay. Like, people could know that, because that was something that I really kept very, very separate in my career.
I 100% agree. I think that was one of, if any, good outcomes of that, last couple of years. I think the reality of people being vulnerable and just being real and it being okay was liberating.
Yes. And when I'm on a call with the CISO of a very large company who has 5 kids, and while he's on the call with me is passing a ball back and forth with his 2-year-old, I'm like, okay, it's great to see that side of that individual. And it's 100%. Just endearing. And it kind of just opens yourself up in a different way. It's nice.
It's very nice. So I'm gonna hit through some rapid fire fun questions for you. And then I'm gonna ask you where WiCyS is going next. Okay. Fun rapid fire questions coming your way. Waffles or pancakes?
Definitely waffles.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy, 100%.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Cook in or eat out?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go eat out right now. So Eat out would be my choice. I don't cook. My husband does all the cooking. So are you asking me if I want to cook? The answer is, oh no, I'm going out.
Coffee or tea?
Both. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon.
Pasta or pizza?
Pizza.
Wine or cocktail?
Well, I think dirty martini is my cocktail of choice. So
Nice. So we'll end with what's next for your organization, and then also how can someone learn more? I'm going to include the link in our show notes, but I want them to have every opportunity to hear from you how they can connect.
yeah. So what's next is that tremendous scholarship opportunities are going to be opening up really, really soon. So everyone could go to WiCyS.org and learn more about that. And we have a lot of unique programming efforts. We're really, at some upcoming events, we have allyship symposiums, inclusive leadership opportunities. There's all sorts of just really unique ways to get more involved and be a part of the change that is needed in the cybersecurity workforce.
Thank you for being on the show and teaching me about this organization and everything that you stand for and that you do and all the work that you are doing. You're changing lives.
Well, thank you, Mary. It was super fun being here. I really enjoyed the conversation with you tonight. So we'll have to do it again.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks for listening to the episode today. It was really fun chatting with my guest. If you liked our show, please like it and share it with your friends. If you want to learn what we're up to, please go check out our website at 2bboulder.com. That's the number 2, little b, boulder.com.